Shocking takeover. What is this takeover all about? What is this takeover all about? Something that is kept on coming to me. Kept on coming to me as I begin to look at the spiritual world. The Lord kept on showing me something and said, the people of Nigeria should, as quick as possible, go into what's called prayer. The people of Nigeria should, as quick as possible, to go into what's called a prayer. Makatoska barakata. Because I am seeing what's called in the realm of the spirit. This is what's called a turbulent time. Makatos obrabadikata. I lift up my hand and pray that heaven should interfere. Let God interfere. Let God interfere. Let God interfere. It is not everything that the major prophet see that he will say out. There are things I need to muscle it out and begin to pray about it. But in the realm of the spirit, the Lord took me straight away and said, look at what's called the ship of Nigeria in the high sea, moving with what's called the speed, and moving, but all of a sudden, the ship will no longer move. Then I begin to ask myself, what is this ship all about? And what's going on that the ship can no longer move? Why is this ship right there in the sea? Some of you that knows what's called the word of knowledge and wisdom and what's called the elderly proverb. I'm in the proverbic word to Nigeria as a country. Because I look in the realm of the spirit and I see the ship right there in the middle of the sea. And right there in the middle of the sea, I'm expecting the ship to continue to move with the speed. But that's what's called ceasefire. And often the light and the fire and the ship now right there in the middle of sea. In the middle of the sea, I begin to look at what is called, whether there's going to be what's called the anchoring of the ship right there in the middle of the sea. But instead of anchoring of the ship in the middle of the sea, there's nothing like anchoring of the ship in the middle of the sea. And I see the sea now begin to toss the ship of Nigeria. Toss it up and down, toss it up, tossing it. And I begin to look at it again and I see what's called the smoke coming out. The smoke coming out, and this smoke is not a good one because this is a kind of smoke that will consume the ship. Oh my God. May the Lord show mercy. The Lord show mercy. Major prophet of God for some time now, I decided to be a little bit calm in the prophetic because I'm seeing what is already written in the realm of the spirit that is inevitable. But the Lord is giving me the grace to continue to pray. But when you pray and see that the headway is not the way it ought to be, what will you do? The Bible says when the chief security officer seeth that the enemies are coming and raiseth alarm, and the people now come out en mass, he said the security officer will never be blamed because he has done his duty. But if he folds his hand and the enemy cometh and does anything, he will be the one to be blamed. So in the realm of the spirit, the Lord said, pray for the country Nigeria. Pray for the country Nigeria. The people in the helm of affairs should all wake up from their slumber. Wake up from your slumber. Be alert. If it takes you to cooperate. Whatever it takes you to do it. Do the right thing. Take a step and do what's called the proper swifting in. Swift in, and also make sure that you bring what's called the profiling, the solution that would help the Nigerian state come out of the middle of the sea, middle of nowhere, in a place where the ship has already ceased fire and has off the fire. The fire is off and the ship cannot move on again because of what I saw in the realm of the spirit. People are going to agitate. People are going to come out in a mass. People are going to take over the street. People are going to loot. And people are going to begin to bring what's called the stabilization of many things. Solution to this will be what's called the swifting and moving into action now remedy a lot of things if they need to be, to make sure that the petroleum product is already being begin to produce locally, any form, any way that things can be done locally to quickly as quick as possible to now end the menace and what is showing in the realm of the spirit. Let something be done immediately. Major prophet of God is coming in peace to making sure that the right things are done. I am not the populace. I am not the Nigerian citizens. I am not the government. I am not any of them. I am a prophet of God that is sent by God to prophesy and to stand in the gap, to now throw the light for the people that need to quickly catch up and know and do the right thing. Because what I saw in the realm of the spirit is not something that can be controlled. It's not something that can be controlled. I see people preparing. I see people preparing. I see meetings going on. I see strategies. I see people now discussing on how to now, this was called overrun. This was called overrun. This was called surmass. This was called take over. This was called quickly as quick as possible. This was called collecting the sheep paddle. And I begin to ask myself, are these pirates in the sea? Or what is this? What's this? What's this? Shocking takeover. What is this takeover all about? What is this takeover all about? Major prophet of God don't speak until the Spirit of God has enlightened me on what is written in the realm of the Spirit, because I believe so much in the spirituality of the prophet of God, to be very spiritual, to be able to dig deep in the realm of the Spirit, to discover what's called the secret things of the secret. And also begin to pray in the area of prayer and with all supplications, making sure that the right will of God is done. Pray, because I am seeing what's called shocking summand, and what's called run over, and what's called take it over. Maradika protos legatakus kaparakata. I'm not in the business of long story. I'm in the business of what's called what is written is written. Because what is written is written. What is written can only be raised by somebody that dictates it. Say, what shall be done? What shall be done? What shall be done? When the king called the prophet, he said, prophet of God, what shall be done? And the prophet of God said to the king, long live the king, this is what to be done, this is what to be done. And what to be done has to be done to put things in place. Jesus,
Maria,